Greetings, people of intellect. This is my book review of Easier Than You Think by Richard Carlson, who is a psychotherapist and a very well-known author amongst feel-good and motivational books. I was curious about this book because under the title of Easier Than You Think, it said, because life doesn't have to be that difficult. And I was curious about what he meant by life doesn't have to be this difficult. After absorbing his material, I understand what he means, and it reiterates a lot of the other concepts that I picked up amongst other of these books that try to convey a meaningful life. And I agree with much of what he's saying. I just find it a slightly rosy-eyed in some sense, but overall it does give one a very a good structure to having a life that is in control and in balance. It gives you the ability to control your emotions, control your reactions to things, and helps you appreciate what you have. And that's the part that I find a bit rosy-eyed is it, I think, kind of stifles ambition. I don't know if that's what he meant, but I got the sense of just learning to be happy with what you have, and I do firmly believe in gratitude, but at the same time, I want what I want, and I know I can get it. Why settle for that? And so he gives the notion of don't feel bad for not having the things you have. For example, he gave the example of if you see your neighbor drive by with a more fancier car than you, instead of thinking about the misery of your life, enjoy, be grateful for the things you do have. But I would have the mentality of, okay, that's motivation for me to work even harder to get up to my neighbor's level or even higher. So I would just take it a step further. But the three main concepts that I took away from this book is the first being watching your thoughts like you would watch a movie. Imagine like you're watching a scary movie, but you don't react like it's actually happening. You understand that it's a movie. So in the same sense, watch your thoughts, let it play out. Like when you see that you're angry or notice that you're angry, let those thoughts play out in your mind and just stand back as a bystander in your mind and just watch your thoughts fire off and observe them without reacting, without responding. And in that way, you just understand that thoughts are thoughts, and you can make a more coherent decision versus just impulsively reacting on those thoughts. So just distance yourself from the thought. The second concept that I took away is don't fight against absolute and concrete reality. For example, one of the examples he gives is if your son is dropping out of school, and that's actually happening, don't fight that head on, and instead try to understand what the situation is and try to make sure that he will have still a successful life without the aid of a college education. So if something is absolutely happening, don't try to fight that. See how you can work with it in conjunction with it, not opposing it, because it's no good fighting absolute reality. The third major concept that I took away is that the concept of the golden pauses, which is like whenever you're having negative thoughts or a rough day or whatnot, to take a few moments to pause and just reflect on other things that make you feel that help you put the perspective or the situation in perspective, so you don't lose your cool, so you don't do something barbaric. But the interesting part about it is that this isn't just for bad times. This is also for times that you can use to feel grateful. Just even if you're having a good day, do that. And so I like that aspect of it. It's not just for negative things. Also, he mentions that we focus on the few things that went wrong as opposed to the plethora of things that went right. And I thought that was a very good point to make.